Welcome to week 3 of the South Plains College Coaches Show, joined by head coach Erik Vance, his assistant Frank Barker. Coach Vance, you go out to Tech last week despite a, let's say, a sloppy course, you could say, to say the least. Your girls go out and kind of do what they do. You guys go out, you're able to put a full team out there for the first time this season and get them running as a team. Talk about last week, some of the thoughts, and some of the things you were excited to see.
Well, first things first, I definitely want to commend Coach Murray and Coach Cordis, Coach Murray from Tech and Coach Cordis from LCU. That's gone from being a course that, was a golf course that, we ran cross-country on to a full-fledged cross-country course. And Coach Cordis specifically has done a really good job putting that course together, really changed some of the layout, done a lot of work out there to make what is going to be a very, very good cross-country course. And yes, it's a little sloppy. You can't do a whole lot with Mother Nature and cross-country season. That's kind of always one of those things that might happen. But like I said, kudos to him because it held up really well for the amount of rain that they'd had in the days prior. That could have been a rough go, and they did a really good job having it in good shape. And we had a really competitive, a good meet. Our women ran extremely well to put 3 in the top 10 and score like we did, and finish runner-up to what I think is a very, very solid Texas Tech women's team. I thought really showed the class of our women's team, showed what they're capable of, and really, in all honesty, I don't think they're done improving on the year. I think we've still got a long ways to go, especially there in the 4, 5, 6 range. We had one runner go out with a little banged up, little injury. I think she's going to be just fine, but I think that 4 through 7 range, they're just kind of starting to figure out what they can do as sophomores and really run well. The top 3, they just kind of keep going and doing what they're doing, just intermixing there with the top runners in the area. So I was really happy with what the women showed me there. On the men's side, we did get a full team out there. We haven't, we're definitely not as deep as we've been. This is not, our most solid cross-country team, and that's not to take away from anybody on the team. I think we've got some really, really good quality individuals. I think they do a really good job running. I know they do a good job working hard. They get after it. They're really committed to what we're doing. We just don't have the depth or the scholarship money in it that we have had in past years, and that that was a decision we made, and basically kind of looking at trying to do some things on the track that we haven't been able to do, which is try to win both titles. And then the goal looking forward is to go do that, and then turn around and with the amount of freshmen we'll have coming back next year on the track, to go ahead and really make an investment there on the cross side and really make a run at having a solid solid cross country team next year. But those guys, Derzak, he's went out and ran a gutsy race. Went out to the front, led for a good portion of the race, and then when the wheels started to fall off, which inevitably they were probably going to, he was running with a guy and beating a guy that won multiple junior college national titles last year on the track, and was a top, I think, 3 guy in NJCAA cross country last year that runs for Wayland now. Very, very solid runner. He didn't just pack up his bags and go home. He kept fighting. He kept running hard and ended up going home to an 11th place finish, which for a freshman is a good run. And I think with a little bit more even pacing, a little bit better tactical race, he's easily in the top 5 or easily in the top 10 and maybe in the top 5. So he ran real well. Alex is right there. He just needs to put a few things together. Ryan Robinson ran a great race. He's a kid that's from Boys Ranch and has come in and just beat himself into the wall every day trying to get better. Like, he just tries to get better every single day. And, it's starting to show competition-wise. He's showing that, we always knew he had the heart and, had the ability, but we're starting to see a little bit more of it week in and week out. So I'm really happy with where we were at coming out of Tech. I knew that was going to be definitely a little bit more of a challenge than the Snyder meet was, just because of the size, the number of teams, number of athletes out there. So I was really happy with what we did, especially based on conditions and things like that. And I think we're headed in a good direction going forward.
Yeah. Coach Barker, this women's team you knew coming into the season had depth. Obviously, was expected to be one of the best. Are they farther ahead than you expected at this point, going out last week on a tough course and battling with a team like Texas Tech till the end?
Well, they did what I expected them to do, and we talked about that before the race and what our expectations were. And I said, let's just go out and have fun. Run a great race, but have fun while you're doing it. And I said the best way to have fun is to win.
Yeah.
And they were out there very competitive. They were aware of where they were in the race, and I think the big stride we made this week is they were aware where their teammates were, and so they were trying to. That number 4, 5, and 6 girl were trying to get closer to 1, 2, and 3, and they kind of, they were watching them real close, and they were working at it. I think we were racing pretty smart. And like Coach said, we had one girl that got a little injury there, and it kind of dropped out of it, and that made a little bit of difference in the way we finished, but it wasn't going to change where our position was. It might have moved our points down a little bit, but outside of that, I think those kids ran well. There was one girl that I think since she's been here, she's a sophomore, probably had the best race she's ever run. She's our number 7 girl, Rocio Ramirez. It's an outstanding race for her. She finally competed. She got up and ran instead of being satisfied with just kind of coasting through the race. And I was real pleased with that. On the guy side, like Coach said, that Dizerac, and he ran a super race. He kind of faded at the end. I talked a little bit to Alex before and after the race and yesterday, and he's real concerned, and he said, Coach, what can I do? And I said, Alex, you got to start racing smart. You just can't go out and try to take it out and win that thing. And I said, you've got to do more pacing. I said, you can run in the 25-minute range, but it takes settling down and running like at 77-second quarters.
Yeah.
And instead of going out and running the first couple of them in 58 to 62 and then dying out there in the race, we've got to divide that energy level up. And I said, it's called distribution of energy. We've got to learn to distribute our energy throughout the race, not at the beginning and at the end.
Don't be giving all their secrets away, Frank.
But anyway, this is what we're looking at. So I think that those guys are going to surprise some folks before it's all over with. I think they'll come up and run a lot better than what they look like on paper. The ladies, I think they're going to just get better and better.
Yeah. Coach Vance, you go to Hobbs this weekend, a familiar course. Your teams will get to see some teams inside their region who are also very competitive, obviously, New Mexico Junior College. Kind of talk about this week, some of the expectations.
This will be, provided we don't get any weather between now and then. I don't know that they got any rain yesterday. This is probably the quickest course we get on all year. Very little elevation change between this and our course next week. Two of the quickest courses. There's probably a little quicker, just a little less turns, a little less, couple fewer loops. So this is probably the quickest course we get on. If the grass is mowed, it's a good opportunity to really go kind of get that feel for a race that's going fast, a race that's got some speed to it, and how you have to kind of adapt and keep moving and be really aware of what's going on, because there's no slowdowns where you can go catch somebody if they get away from it. You've got to keep the hammer down, and you've got to go. New Mexico Junior College has 2 really good teams. Like they've first year in the men's program coming back, and they've put a good men's team together, and they'll be out there to challenge our guys. And the women's team is very solid as well. They have one individual who won the Tech meet, won the Snyder meet. She's a very talented individual. So there's no lack of competition over there. There's no lack of somebody to push us. But I really want to see us this week, like I said, adapt to running fast. A little bit different type of race. I haven't been to the Nationals course yet, but I know it is on a golf course, which those tend to be a little faster. You have to be able to adapt when things go out quick and everybody's pushing the pace. And also want to see us kind of see what we look like as our legs start to get a little fresher. I know Coach Barker's still continuing to kind of hit them, but we'll get to that point where they start to be a little fresher. They start to feel like they're really ready to roll. So I'm excited to see him run on something where this will be my first opportunity to really see him run probably the entirety of a race. Both Snyder and Texas Tech, they kind of disappear on you for a big chunk of the course. This course, you're going to know where they're at almost entirely of the time. So I want to see what they can do, and hopefully we'll put on a good show.
Coach Barker, without giving away the full playbook here, expectations for week 3?
Well, like I said, I really want to see those girls that are running 4, 5, and 6 get a little bit closer, and I think they will do that. And I think you're going to see a change in them. Their attitude is really fantastic. The guys just need to keep plugging away, and I think pretty soon they're going to gel, and we're going to be okay.
Gentlemen, any final thoughts?
If you're in the neighborhood of Hobbs, New Mexico, we run at 5 Mountain Time, at 6 Texas Time. It's a little easy trip over. Feel free to come over and see us. It's a fun race. It's easy to see. It's directly across from the golf course there, the new golf course. I believe it's Rockwind, I think is what it's called. It's directly across the street, the park there. Great course for spectators. Like I said, you can see almost the entirety of the race standing on one hill in the middle. They continue to kind of loop around, so you get to see a bunch of the race. You get right on top of the action. Coach Blackwell and Coach Becker over there put on a good meet. It's well run, so come see us. It's an hour and a half down the road. Come out and see us run, and then mark your calendars. Next week we will be here, so make your plans Saturday morning. Get out of bed, get you some coffee, and head on over to Brashear Lake, because we'll have a show put on there and have a good race that I hope everybody can come out and see and get the opportunity to run at home.
Have you decided on a start time for next week?
10 o'clock, right?
10 a.m.?
We'll put it up 10 a.m.
And we'll also be streaming that online as well. Coaches, thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow us at spctexans.com and check out our Twitter page. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.